What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and talking about our top 10 centers right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Now, if there is anybody I leave off, I apologize. Do want to start with that because, again, there are so many good cards, especially with the NBA storylines players. I feel like, I don't know, I didn't pay much attention to them. So if any of those guys make this list, I do want to apologize. Also do want to say, I did not include any hidden gem cards. So, like, yes, Porzingis, if you've got him, run him. But I didn't include him. Why? Because who's running that card unless you got extremely lucky? So, do want to mention that as well. Without further ado, let's hop into our top 10 centers right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM. Starting with Myles Turner, 6'11", 7'4" wingspan, hot spot from that right slot. 88 3-ball, 80 speed, solid interior badges as well. I like Myles Turner. It just comes down to right now, I feel like it's hard for me to get to this card, right? I mean, Hall of Fame set shot specialist. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying there are other centers that are really good too. Like, that's the hard part for me and Myles Turner right now, is I do like the card. I think the card is good, but there are also other good centers on this list that you guys will see. But Myles Turner does have a good release, high 3-ball, to which maybe the card was a little bit faster, maybe had some more badges. But if you are looking for a center, I don't know the price of Myles Turner right now, but I do know he is a solid option for you guys. At my number 9, we're plugging in Diamond Jack Sikma, 6'11", 7'3" wingspan, hot spots from both corners with an 87 3-ball. Here's the simple solution. Or not even solution, but simple comparison between Sikma and Myles Turner. Sikma does everything on the court better. Outside of Myles Turner is going to be slightly, and when I say slightly, it is very slightly faster on the court. Everything else, Jack Sikma is going to do at a higher level. Jack Sikma is 6'11". He has hot spots from both corners. He's got a higher 3-ball. I think, maybe it's not a higher 3-ball, but I think it is slightly higher. Jack Sikma's got, in my opinion, a slightly better release, slightly better player build, slightly better badges. He is just slightly better all the way around than Myles Turner. That's why Sikma's better. It feels wrong putting him all the way down here at number 9. I honestly don't like having him this low, although I feel like I have to for good reasons. To me, I like Willis Reed slightly more right now than Jack Sikma. Maybe not even specifically at the center position, but just as far as an overall card. Why? I think it starts with the speed, right? The +6 in speed is honestly, I don't want to say it's like a massive difference, but it does matter. Like, Willis Reed is going to be faster than Jack Sikma, and with the way I rotate, it does matter. Willis Reed's going to have a quicker jump shot. I will say this, though. Some people struggle to green with Willis Reed, so be careful, guys, because his release is super quick. So if you're one that do not like quick releases, let's say like Andre Kirilenko, if you do not like his release, you're probably going to struggle with Willis Reed because he has one of the quicker jump shots on the entire game. I honestly think at this stage, I like Willis Reed more at the power forward position than the center position. The size at 6'10" at center definitely hinders the card a little bit, but he's got a decent 3-ball, good speed, 94 interior, solid paint badges. If you don't have him on the top 10 centers, do you know ball? In my opinion, you don't, because Willis Reed is an absolute beast on this game, coming in at my number 8. At my number 7 is a card I'm going to spend a little while talking about. It is Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, you guys can sit there and tell me I'm biased because I love this card and have used this card for a while, but I think you could have Jaren Jackson Jr. all the way up to number 3 on this list. I do. Now, I'm just saying I think there are certain things that hurt this card, and I'll talk about them, but we got to start with the height, right? I think Jaren might be better at power forward than center because of the height more than anything. Only 6'10", although I do like Jaren's player build, that is something that hurts him. His defensive badges, look, they're good enough, you could play him at power forward. His defensive stats, they're good enough, you could play him at power forward. I just think that's probably the best position. But I will say this about Jaren Jackson Jr. His release is probably my favorite release out of any releases on this list. Sikma's got a good release. Willis Reed's got a good release. A lot of people have good releases. But I would be willing to bet I green and it's quicker than a lot of the other releases on this list. I love Jaren. I honestly would pick him up if I were you guys and don't have this card. There's not a squad, I can't even say that, but there's not many squads in which Jaren Jackson Jr. can't make. Whether you play him at power forward or center is up to you, but I would have Jaren Jackson Jr. on your squad. Coming in at my number 6, I've got to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar higher than Jaren Jackson Jr. Whether I want to or not, I think it's the facts of the situation. Here's why. Kareem is 7'2". He snags every board. He's got some of the best defensive badges in the game. I think you've got to put Kareem higher than Jaren, although I don't like to do it. I think I've got to. If we're talking strictly at the center position, Kareem is going to be better at rebounding. Kareem's going to be better on the interior. Sure, Jaren's release is better. Sure, Jaren is better badge-wise. But I think I've got to go Kareem by the slightest of edges. Look, if you find find him open, he can green the occasional shot as well. I really do like this Kareem card. The fact that he can play power forward is cheesy as well. When I used Kareem in the short amount of time I did, I actually really liked the card. Felt like he, was such a good big on the court. And even if I didn't shoot any shots with him, he still has the threat of that. People have got to respect his shooting prowess. For me, Kareem is slightly higher than Jaren right now, coming in at number 6. At number 5, a card I really am not comfortable with, I've got to plug in the Pink Diamond David Robinson. Now, here's the hard part. Objectively speaking, this is where my tier list, or this is where my top 10 is coming from. But I have had more success with Jaren than D-Rob. However, I do think D-Rob's the better option. D-Rob's 7'1" compared to Jaren at 6'10". D-Rob's got an 85 3-ball, 87 speed, perfect defensively. And then we're not even talking about the Galaxy Opal D-Rob right now. We're talking about the Pink Diamond D-Rob. This card is going to be on a big time discount. So let's say until you get the David Robinson, you need a center to get you over. Pink Diamond D-Rob can absolutely be that guy. 7'1", 7'5" wingspan. Just a really solid overall card. I will say this about D-Rob's release. I personally struggled with it. Now, is that me saying it's unusable? No. I only used D-Rob one day. I really didn't even give the card a chance after I stunk with him. I sold the card. So I still don't hate D-Rob. Although, I don't know. Maybe he shouldn't be at number 5 on this list. At my number 4, we're plugging in Pink Diamond Joel Embiid. 7 feet tall, 7'5" wingspan, 87 3-ball, 84 speed. Great defense. Another one of these cards that I just am not the biggest fan of his release. Joel Embiid's release does have a hitch to it. It is slightly slow. It's going to be decently easy to contest. However, I think the overall picture, Joel Embiid's a solid card. 87 3-ball, 84 speed. Really great defense. Really great defensive badges as well. And he has a lot of total badges. You're looking at a card base with, 27 base badges. You fully badge him, 32 base badges. Nearly gets every badge in the entire game. So it's hard for me to hate on Joel Embiid at all. This is an absolute stud of a card. And look, if you have asked some of the best comp players in the game who they run at their center, a lot of them are going to say Joel Embiid. At my number 3, I'm plugging in Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, between Hakeem and Joel Embiid, I think a lot of it is personal preference. I think Hakeem Olajuwon is the slightly better option, the slightly better card to run. However, a lot of people would probably lean Joel Embiid. And so I think it is a tough and difficult question to ask. Why do I give the edge to Hakeem? To me, it's two things. Two reasons I like Hakeem more than Joel Embiid. Again, when you compare their stats and their badges and their everything, it is so close. First thing I want to talk about, Hakeem's going to be slightly faster. Speed, in my opinion, is the most important stat in the entire game. That and 3-ball. But speed to me at the center position is more important. The other thing is the release. I think Hakeem's release is going to be so much quicker than Joel Embiid's. Now, what release you green with is really personal preference. Some people are going to green more with Hakeem. Some people are going to green more with Joel Embiid. That is not an answer that I can give you guys. But I can say Hakeem's release is going to be easier to get off. It's quicker. And to me, honestly, when looking at the cards, just an eye test thing, I've not actually used Joel Embiid or Hakeem very much. Used a little of Joel Embiid. I think Hakeem's got the better and quicker release. So for me, I'm going to give the edge of Hakeem Olajuwon over Joel Embiid. Some people might disagree with me on that, and that's okay. That's what makes these lists fun to do. But for me, Hakeem Olajuwon coming in at my number 3. At my number 2, Galaxy Opal David Robinson. Now I want to start with this with D-Rob. He still has the D-Rob base on normal. And in my short time with that release, I struggled. Again, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a just D-Rob issue. It could be a me issue. But I think other people have had struggles with that release as well. So I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments if you're using this card. Are you using Rhythm Shooter? Are you using Square? or the button. What are you doing to green with this card? Because a lot of people are struggling with it. But the D-Rob card is nearly perfect. 89 3-ball, good dunking, good ball handle, good speed, great defense, great defensive badges. There are no flaws in the card. You put these badges on D-Rob, which obviously I would do. There's nothing that this David Robinson card can't do. He's an absolute beast of a card on the court. He is 7-1. He's got every badge in the game. If you do fully badge him up, nearly every badge I should say, this card is nearly perfect. I just am not sold on the release of David Robinson quite yet. And coming in as my best center right now in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM, we've got Pink Diamond Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", 7'8" wingspan, 87 3-ball, 79 speed. Great defense across the board, solid badges as well. There's just no real flaws in Victor Wembanyama whatsoever. The card can shoot over everybody. He's got decent speed. His strength's not bad. Defensive badges are fantastic. And the best part about Victor Wembanyama, if you want to buy this card, sure, he's expensive. I'm not going to sit here and act like Wemby's not expensive. But the best part about this card is you can find a Wemby that is soup with extra Hall of Famers, maybe even some legend badges if you want. Otherwise, you can get a discounted Wemby that looks like this. And for me, for my money, give me Victor Wembanyama for the average player over anybody else. Because here's the deal. A lot of players that aren't super good at the game, they just get the ball to Wembanyama and shoot over people. That's what they do. And I'm not trying to slander you. Like, if you're watching this video and that is what you do offensively, it's not me slandering you. It's just the truth. That is, like, if you want offense for beginners, it is have Wemby spot up, get him the ball, and shoot over the other center if it's like a Jaren Jackson Jr. Because Jaren, unless you jump at Wemby, is just simply not going to get a contest on Wemby. So that's kind of the tough part about the situation, is the fact that Wemby is so tough to defend against. Meanwhile, Wemby defensively is going to be one of the best defensive players in the entire game. So he's so tough to play against. Right now is the best overall center in the entire game. What I do want to mention, though, is honestly, when doing this rankings, you could have my number, honestly, you could have Jaren all the way up at number 3, in my opinion. I do think D-Rob and Wemby are the best two as far as their base cards. Now, if you have a soup Joel Embiid, soup Hakeem, they could be better than your Galaxy Opal D-Rob. But I do think when we're looking at it, it's tough. And you know what? If you wanted to include Evan Mobley on this list, you can. I think his release is horrible, and so that's why I didn't include him. Whereas everybody else, I feel like, has a decent enough release. Plus, I included Mobley on the power forward list. So if you really wanted Mobley on the list, I get it. But Dirk was left off. There are some other centers that were left off the list that honestly aren't the worst. So that's just my personal opinion. Rudy Gobert, maybe if you could shoot the ball, I could include you. Y'all see what Rudy Gobert did to Anthony Davis last night? That's why he's my DPOY. Y'all don't have to agree. Holding the Lakers to 80 points, though. That's a real DPOY. That's going to wrap it up for our top 10 centers. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are doing it. As always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.